Hi all, I hope you can hear me. This is Jim here from Property Button, and we are absolutely delighted to present our new moving service. I've been like a child with Christmas every morning going up to our engineers about this for weeks and weeks. So I'm really excited by it, as sad as that might sound. I'm really excited about it. This is something that we've been thinking about, working on for a really long time. And it just happened to come just at the right time. We feel with GDPR compliance upon us all, and all of us scratching our heads, wondering what do we have to do and when do we have to do it by. I guess we know the date, but it's very unclear what we need to do. But we're here today to help you with that, which is great. We're here to help you today with finding the correct tenants really quickly, which is great. So being able to tick off compliance and ticking off finding the right tenants quickly is great. So we're here to talk to you about our moving service. Very briefly, just before I start, well, hopefully you guys already know what moving is at this stage, but at a super high level, what moving does is it allows you guys to, rather than look at 300 emails in your inbox with varying different levels of quality and varying different levels of information, it allows you to actually fairly compare people and find the best tenant for your property, and to do that in a way that's compliant with our data protection laws, with our anti-discrimination laws, and with the property rules and regulations. So hence, that's why I'm so excited. I'm also so excited because I think it's actually cool technology. So let's get into it and show it to you. So what we're going to talk to you about here today is our moving service. The background, what the problems are that we're going to solve. Don't worry, I won't spend too long on that. A quick overview, and then we're going to get in and actually show you the thing, because I think we're all kind of dying to get to that. Show you as well how you guys use it, so the letting agent / property manager portal. Or indeed, if you're, some people are actually doing the letting agency and property management on their own properties. There's a growing number of those with the REITs and the large funds, and the demonstration of tenants building their profile, how that's done, just confirming the compliance pieces on that. Then the bit that I'm really interested in, that I'd like to spend all day on, but I guess you guys wouldn't, it's how you sign up. And then finally, we've got a little prize that we'll raffle between the first, I think it's 100 sign-ups, Kiza, is that right?
That's correct.
Super. So guys, I didn't introduce my colleague Kiza OD, who's here with me. Kiza's head of marketing here at Property Button, and all of the look and feel that you've seen from us over the last few years, that change from the engineering blue that we had on everything from when we started to hopefully something that looks a little more bright and colorful and really telling our story.
Yeah, and from the get-go, we've really based this product on the conversations we've had around letting agents. But I am a tenant myself, and I've been fighting the tenants part of this from the get-go with Jim and the tech team to make sure that the service just really is ideal for tenants, offers a very digital, smooth experience, and ticks all the boxes that the issues that tenants have today as well. So I'll be representing the tenants on this presentation today.
So I'm the 40 near 50 landlord type, and Kiza is the 20-ish tenant type. So we'll get into it. So moving, just an intro. First of all, what is Property Button and what is moving? So we're a communication platform. What does that really mean in the real world? So we want to replace all the phone calls and emails and SMSs that you currently have. All those communications that are disconnected from the tools that you use to manage your work day. So sometimes it's super hard to remember. I had to call Anto the plumber, or I had to call Jim the landlord, or Kiza the tenant. You know, if there's 300 or 400 of those things that you have to do in any given week, it's so easy to overlook one of them. And we all know that other people as well, then you may overlook it, but it's the same experience for Anto the plumber, or Jim the landlord, or Kiza the tenant. They're going to overlook and forget to call you. And it's just a bad experience for everybody. So we identified that early on. We solved that problem for utilities, and we're now extending that to two other parts of the letting and property management business that we cover by moving. The service also helps tenants, so it allows tenants to build their profile once and to be able to share that with all 800 letting and property managers on that use the property button system currently. And what's crucial there is I use the term share as opposed to send. So in a GDPR world, as an estate agent or a letting agent or a property manager, you don't want all this data sitting on your email and servers, which could be in America, could be God knows where, but certainly many of them aren't in the EU. You don't want those sitting on your mobile phones and on your laptops and on your PCs, because if there's someone comes and asks you for that data, you have to prove that it's all been removed from your system or that you can update it or change it, which of course you can't. So in a GDPR world, you don't want that data inside your business. You want it to be shared with you for a specific period of time and then unshared with you. Our software also automates the business process and data flows. So that kind of sounds a bit high level, doesn't it? But really what that means is we want to present you with the problem and the solution in your work day. So we want to be able to tell you that Kiza confirmed her appointment for 4 o'clock viewing, or she's cancelled it, and be able to confirm that with you and update your calendars so that you're not trying to remember that, oh, I was supposed to be there, did she cancel or not? That it's clearly confirmed for you. Similarly, the utilities, similarly, any trouble tickets in the future. So that's integrated into the tools that you use to manage your day. So you're not just trying to remember 1,000,001 things and suffering from, anxiety, stroke-inducing levels of anxiety. I don't know how you guys do it, but for both of you, but we're trying to make it a bit easier for you. We want to help you guys deliver the customer experience that people demand now. So people are used to their apps just doing everything for them and running their life through their phone. And your competitors, we're certainly not seeing it to the same level in Ireland that we are in the UK, but we're certainly seeing Purple Bricks and UPad and all these online-only letting and estate agencies making big inroads in the UK because people just want to engage with you guys through their mobile phone. And that's pretty hard to do for a small or medium-sized business because it requires a very large investment in technology and in retraining your staff. So we looked at that and went, okay, well, we can do this once and we can offer it to all of these estate agents for free, provided that we're paid by the likes of Borgosh and Virgin Media and so on, because we need to earn a crust as well. So we know that you guys can deliver a higher level of customer experience using this service. And we've seen that, we see the feedback already. The next option that we're trying to solve is vacant periods. So I guess when supply is tight, vacant periods are naturally lower, but in some parts of the market, the supply isn't as tight. And getting tenant A out and tenant B in is super important. The other thing that our services do is provide you guys with a new revenue stream. So at the start, we put the utility services out there and we paid a commission on those services. Now we're adding in new services into the moving product. And again, you guys can automate lots of things you're currently doing manually, makes life a lot easier for you, and it has a new revenue stream. And then the last bit is we make sure that all the services are switched properly into the tenant's name. With the moving service, we're engaged with the tenant weeks and weeks before they move in, as opposed to a week after they move in when we get the tenant consent form from you guys. That means that we can ensure that the bills are transferred into the landlord's name on the move-in date, as opposed to a week or later. At the moment, we receive on average the tenant consent form from letting agents 6.9 days after the tenant moves in. So the reads are out of date, guys. The utilities won't accept them if they're 6 or 7 days old. If they're more than 2 to 3 days old, the utilities won't accept them. Bills are transferred on estimated reads. That's not something we've done or you guys have done. That's the way the market works. So if we can engage with tenants through the moving service weeks and weeks before they move in, then we'll make sure that they're transferred at the right reading on the right date, and we're compliant with the market. There's increasing level of regulation you guys see. So I spoke about this at the start, but you guys are enormously well aware of GDPR, your client account reporting, anti-discrimination, safety sets, rent pressure zones, HAP. The list just goes on and on, like we're all drowning in it. It looks extremely painful, and it is painful. But the good news is we can solve a lot of it for you with this service. So I think I've said enough about that really. So what are we doing for letting agents? We're giving you one place to centralize your communication. Instead of you guys trying to find emails or SMSs or, God forbid, WhatsApp and Facebook type messages from tenants and from landlords and from plumbers and carpenters and decorators in the field, it's all in one place. It's in Property Button. All the communication comes through there. You can identify the best tenants really, really quickly. Rather than trying to look at 300 emails in your inbox, you're now able to see those 300 tenants in our system, and you're able to, with 4 or 5 clicks that I'll show you in a minute, filter it down to a short list, set up viewings, and have it done in a jiffy. You can verify tenant references. We verify them for you, and then we push them out to you. I'll show you that also in a moment. You can organize the viewings and have those viewings pushed into your calendar, whether that's your CRM calendar or your online calendar, and into the tenant's calendar. And also 90 minutes beforehand, the tenant has to reconfirm. It's a much nicer move-in process for your tenant and for your landlords, and we ensure that all the services are set up into the new tenant's name on the move-in day, because we're engaged with them a number of weeks beforehand, as opposed to what I said earlier, receiving the tenant consent form nearly 7 days afterwards.
And some of the benefits for the tenants then, for the first time I'm actually able to control my data. So instead of being selected for a viewing and rocking up with the whole load of papers in my hand ready to give to the letting agents, I can actually share the information with the letting agents in a controlled, secure cloud for a limited time, and then that information is taken away once the purpose is fulfilled. So I can prove I am an excellent tenant, I can prove I'm a professional, get verified landlord references, share my profile with those verified property managers, either through the people who are interested in me or with other property managers, receive invitations to private viewings and accept offers in a structured manner, and set up my utility, media and waste services ahead of moving day, so it's one less thing to worry about on the day of move.
So what does it look like? First of all, we give you guys this letting agency is very professionally called Jim Bob's Letting Agency. What we've done here is, we picked out what we believe are the KPIs you guys can run your business, but you can tell us. So these can be any KPIs, but what's happening here is there's a red, amber, green running on all these numbers, so that if you tell us that we've got a new property in and our SLA to our landlords is that we'll have it up on Daft or My Home within 2 days. And if you can see, for example, in the top left-hand corner there, properties pending updates, that might go red if one of your properties has been received in but hasn't been put up on Daft or My Home within a certain number of days. Again, viewings, if there isn't enough viewing set up for a property, it can go red. So you can see in an instant what's happening in your business. If you get a call from a landlord saying, well, how's that property going? Have you got many people for viewings? You can see in an instant. You can click on any of these numbers. You can see a property, or you can see a landlord, and you can see what's happening in your business and be able to give a really clear, fact-based answer within minutes. This is available on your desktop and or on your mobile device. So how do you add a property? It's a cinch. You click on add the big blue button in behind here. If you can see my mouse, add property, brings up this screen. You type in the address. We use auto address lookup. So in this case here, you guys might type in 4 space ADEL, and it'll give you 4 Adelaide Square, 4 Adelaide Heights, 4 Adelaide Road. You're probably familiar with this. You click on the one you want and it fills in the full proper address. Within 2 seconds, you have the property added in. You can then add in, you just copy and paste the link from Daft or from My Home. You can put in multiple here. The little plus here is you can put in My Home, put in another little plus for, let's say if you're using, I think there's still other property portals out there active in Ireland, and you can add those in, or indeed your own website. How do you identify the top tenants? So as people start applying for requests for viewings, they start coming in here. So what we see happening here is for 4 Adelaide Square, nobody has applied yet. The blue is the total pool, the total number of people who've applied. As you go through them, then you'll sort them into red, amber, green. Green is shortlisted. We'll show you that now, how you do that. Amber is waitlisted. So for example, if they're a good tenant but maybe not perfect for this property, you might want to waitlist them, and you might want to respond to them saying, hey, I'm not sure 4 Adelaide Square is right for you, but have you seen this property down the road that we're advertising, and be able to respond back to them in a simple way like that. and red is they're just not suitable at all. So they're getting a polite no thank you email from Property Button. So I guess what you're seeing here is in a snapshot, you can see every application that's come in through the property portals. If you get a request via telephone, you just click plus interest here, and you add in a couple of details, their name, mobile, and email address, and then they will go through the tenant process that Keith will show you now in one moment. So how do you actually sort? So the tenants into shortlist, waitlist, and no thank you. So as you can see here, we've got a list of people now who've applied for Adelaide, 4 Adelaide Square. Kira here is the top tenant. You can see that we've got Kira's landlord reference here that's been validated. We've got Kira's employer's reference, which again we validated. You got Kira's gross salary. You've got the date that she's available to move in and the maximum rent she's able to pay. Not necessarily the maximum rent for this property, mind you, because this could be in a rent pressure zone or something else. So that might be something you'll use separately, but that's the maximum she feels she's capable of paying. So this is information Kira has uploaded and the Property Button have validated. If you want to look at any of the information, you can click on view. You can see, for example, a utility bill. You may or may not be happy with that. If you are, you click approve. If not, you reject it. You can go down through a couple of them. You might decide, gee, there's 300 profiles here. I have no interest in going through all of them. So on the left-hand side here in this yellow box, you'll see we've configured some filters. You can filter based on their salary with the slider here. You can filter based on the quality of their profile. You can filter based on the rent amount, or you can type in a date if they're available. Look, I can't move anybody in until X date. You can decide on the date, click filters, and you'll get a short list. In this case here, we've clicked on 5-star, people with 5-star profiles. Now, what are we basing that on? And this is super important for an anti-discrimination, so protecting yourself from a claim of discrimination. And what it's based on is affordability and proving that you're a good tenant. So within affordability, you're uploading information about your income. So we're not asking about whether you're employed or unemployed, which is discriminating against unemployed people. We're not asking about HAP. We're not asking about anything else that can be seen as discriminatory. We're looking to see if you can afford the property. And the way you prove that you can afford the property, of course, is to show your pay slips or your bank account information and or your validated employer reference. Any of those things there, you're getting a higher score. The way you prove you're a good tenant is that you upload the references from your previous landlord, and then Property Button validates those. We do that by, number one, validating that the landlord is the landlord for that property, and we can talk you through that if you'd like a demo of the service. I won't do it here, how we do that. And number two, then we offer the landlord a credit towards a BER for that property if the BER is outdated. The landlord then must verify that the tenant did live in that property between those two dates, that they paid their rent on time, that they got their deposit back, that there was no PRTB or bills left behind or no cases. And finally, what's the final piece?
Yeah, that's 4.
This 4, is it? I thought there was 5. Okay. Anyway, it's confirmed. So that's so you create your short list. You then, when we're talking to estate agents, and letting agents, they're saying, listen, we still want to talk to people. This is all great. It's lovely to be able to filter down, but I still want to talk to Kira, because Kira told me there's just 2 of them, herself and her partner. And when I call, there's clearly 10 kids screaming in the background. So look, I want to do the verbal sense check myself as well. So we decided not to try and automate this too much. So you've created your shortlist here now. You start calling the people on the shortlist. You've got the information you need to call Kira to validate a few things. If you like Kira on the phone, you agree the date and time. So this is a little calendar click down, and then you send the invitation. You get a calendar invitation into your device, which you can save, and Kira gets one as well, which she can save, and she accepts, and it's confirmed back here to you that Kira's accepted it. And similarly, she has to do 90 minutes beforehand. She has to reconfirm that. What happens next? So the next thing is Kira. You meet Kira at the viewing. You're using your mobile device at this stage. You might have done 8 viewings that day, so it's hard to remember which one was which. So with really super simple little app for you guys. So at the viewings, as you can see here, the viewing tab within the app, you can stick in a little comment about Kira, and that's updated back into the system, so that when you go back into the office tomorrow or later on this afternoon, you've got the comments so you can associate directly with that person. You're not mixing anything up. It's really nice and clear. Click update, it's in there. You're then, so you liked Kira, you discussed it with the landlord, everything's approved. You maybe called Kira, agreed a few things, agreed with her the rent, agreed the deposit, agreed the move-in date, agreed any special conditions. You send it to Kira, Kira confirms, and then you issue the lease. So what you see is a full audit trail of Kira within the system. Kira's accepted the offer. She does that within her app that Keith is going to show you now in a moment. That again, if you guys choose, you can skip this step if you like, but the same offer and the same lease, etc., is sent to Joe Boyle. Joe Boyle is your landlord, your customer for this property 4 Adelaide Square, and Joe can confirm it. Again, if you're the landlord for this yourself, then maybe you just want to skip that step. But if you're a letting agent, you're probably going to tie them in. And then confirm that the lease was signed and the date for that. So this is very important that we've heard from letting agents as well, that Kira may be using you guys as a backup for the property that she really wants. And the last thing that you want is Kira dragging her feet, pretending she's going to sign it and not signing it. And then you having a wasted week of a property being empty, and a landlord on Joe Boyle here really being annoyed with you that you wasted a week. So if Kira doesn't sign this, sorry, I skipped. If Kira doesn't sign this, you're able to pass this to the next person on the wait list, if you remember. So Kira will have a certain deadline to sign this by. If she doesn't sign it, the system alarms to you. You can call Kira, tell her to sign it today, or else you're passing it to the next person. So it just has an alarm built in to stop things coming back and biting you. Now, on the move-in day, you either meet them on site or you meet them at your own premise. It varies by agency. If you're meeting them on site, we ask you to, we push to you the MPRN and the GPRN. You log in the reads at that exact date. You can upload a picture of the actual meter, or you can upload a picture of the tenant consent form that the tenant has signed. Either or is good enough for us. We'll tell you again whether it's a 24-hour meter or a day-night, so you'll know the number of reads you have to put in. We'll also tell you if there's a GPRN, if there's gas at that property, so you'll save that. Click Save Reads. You're all done. Done and dusted. We do all the rest. So I'll hand you over to Kira, Kiza, excuse me, to talk about the tenant.
Thanks, Jim. So once a tenant applies for your property on After My Home, they'll receive an SMS from you, and it will say, thanks for your interest. Please click here to apply for the property. They'll be taken to a link where they can begin to update their tenant profile. So here's what it would look like. So within the tenant profile, there's various fields. So there's information like your proof of ID, your landlord reference, your employer's reference, social media, and other documents and different types of proofs that you can put in. It's in my best interest to update this, because with all information I include, I receive a higher kind of badge, so I increase my chances of being chosen for a viewing. So this is the type of information that you enter. So your contact details, so if you want to do a landlord reference, so this is the information you put in on a previous tenancy, you can then send to your landlord the reference, and then they can then verify that. So the green button down below is how you'd upload your reference there too. So on the second tab, you can see the watch list. So that's all the properties I've applied for. I can see where I rank for that, and I can see what the profile deadline is. So it will encourage me to upload as much information as possible and to increase my rankings for those properties. So for viewings and offers, I receive an SMS for any viewings I'm invited to, and it takes me to the viewings tab where I can then confirm that I'm available for that specific time. If I'm not, then I can communicate through the app. So then I receive a reminder SMS 90 minutes before the viewing, and within there I can also update the letting agent whether I'm able to attend or not. So for the offer,
it's 12 hours.
For the offer, I receive the offer that we've agreed over the phone with the letting agent, so I can choose to accept that or reject it. So once the offer has been accepted, I receive an SMS of confirmation, and then I begin the lease signing process. So I can sign the lease within the app, and then it takes me straight, once the lease is agreed, it takes me straight to the move-in process. So ahead of moving day, I can set up my energy, media and waste services. So I go in here, property button identifies all the services available to me at the property, and I can go in and browse all services and choose the one that suits me best. So once the letting agent uploads the reads, property button holds on to those products for the tenant until move-in day. Once the letting agent uploads the reads, we then send it on to the chosen supplier. And when I'm in the property, this is I can also report a problem for various information and send that on to the letting agent. So with electricity, windows, gas, furniture, or if we need to order anything like a handyman. So I guess that's it, guys. We just wanted to say this is how you sign up. So you go to propertybutton.io/letting agents. There's a chance to win a prize of 2 tickets to the All-Ireland football final and an overnight stay at the Royal Marine Hotel in Dún Laoghaire. So for the first 100 people that sign up, they'll be put into a raffle. We really hope you do sign up for this because Jim wanted to give that prize out to the staff, but I encouraged him to send it out to the letting agents. So yeah, we really hope you enjoyed the webinar. And is there anything else, Jim?
No, not at all. I'm like a kid with Christmas, so I hope you all buy this because I've been so excited about this. I've been getting everybody around here excited about this service for weeks and weeks and weeks. So I hope to goodness it's not going to fall flat in its face, but I don't think it will because I think it addresses many of the key concerns that you guys have. There's no cost to you. It's a super cinch. You've seen the user interface. It's a super cinch to use it. It meets all your compliance requirements. It removes the risks that you guys have with GDPR and discrimination. So, and it centralizes all the emails and SMSs in one place. So we think we're doing the HSE a favor because we reduce the number of strokes and anxiety level heart attacks that are going on out there. Not a laughing matter. I think it's a real thing, you know, with letting agents and estate agency business. So please give us a call, give us a shout, log into the forum. Let us know if you'd like a demo, if you'd like to try it out. It doesn't replace anything you're currently doing. It just sits beside it, easy to use. So give it a try, really, and we're happy to support you through that. If you have any questions, you can email us directly or get onto the forum, leave any questions. We're happy to respond to anything, and we're happy to do a more detailed demo if you like. But thanks for your time, guys.
Thank you.